Hello everyone and welcome to another one of our stage previews of the 2024 Tour de France, and this is of course stage 20, the last road stage that will see the riders go from Nice to the Col de Quirol, which stands out as a particularly challenging and scenic stage for the riders to tackle. This stage, stretching 132.8 kilometers, is not just a test of endurance and strategy but also a visual beast, winding through some of the most beautiful landscapes of the Alpes-Maritimes area, and this stage is 4,600 meters of elevation, one of the hardest stages of this year's tour. The starting point of the race is a very familiar setting of the beautiful coastal city of Nice, situated at an altitude of just 51 meters. Known for its stunning Mediterranean views, vibrant cultural scene and historic old town, Nice offers a gentle start to what will become an increasingly strenuous journey. Riders will begin their ascent almost immediately after departing the city. Nice was of course the host town of the Tour de France back in 2020 during the Smovid pandemic, and we'll see a return to the city. Of course, Nice has its own race as well, Paris-Nice, every year that we have seen a number of good winners from as well, including Tadej Pogacar and this year's winner Matteo Jorgensen, who are both still in the race. The race, as I said, is a very short one, and the riders almost begin immediately to climb from the very start of the race. After a brief 1.4 kilometer of flat terrain, riders will reach La Trinite, and shortly after, at 14.2 kilometers, they'll encounter Tour de la Rescarène, situated at 449 meters of elevation. This part of the route serves as a warm-up before the first categorized climb of the day. The Col de Brousse, peaking at 1,002 meters, is classified as a Cat 2 climb. Spanning 10 kilometers with an average of 6.6%, it's a formidable challenge early on for the riders, and we'll see who might be interested in the breakaway here. The ascent offers spectacular views with winding roads that make the climb both physically demanding and rewarding visually. Post their first climb of the day, the route descends to a quaint town of Sospel, located at 373 meters of elevation. This section, up to 35.9 kilometers, allows the riders to catch their breath before tackling the next major climb. From Sospel, the journey progresses towards Moulinet, which sits at 773 meters elevation and marks the halfway point of the stage. This area is characterized by lush greenery and serene landscapes, providing a brief respite before the riders face the next significant challenge. The next significant challenge is the grueling Col de Torini, which is a Cat 1 climb that extends over 20.7 kilometers with a more manageable gradient of 5.7%. The start of the climb up until 10 kilometers is relatively easy when you look at it, with gradients being as low as 0.6% and up towards 6%. But then 10 kilometers into the climb, we see a very constant gradient all the way up to the finish, around the 7 to 8%, and even dipping down to 5.6%. But it does show that the climb is a lot harder after 10 kilometers, the halfway point of the climb. The Col de Torini is not famed only in the cycling world, but also in motorsport, hosting parts of the Monte Carlo Rally. The road is steep with numerous hairpin turns, requiring technical skill and strategic energy conservation for the riders, but this has also attracted motorsport world. The Col de Torini made several notable appearances in both the Tour de France and Paris-Nice as well, underscoring its importance in cycling already. In 1948 was the first time we saw it, in a stage that started in the close by San Remo in Italy, finishing in Cannes. But the last time was on stage 2 of the 2020 Tour de France, where we saw Anthony Perez, the Cofidis rider, being the summit, as the stage started and finished in Nice. But also in Paris-Nice, lately we've seen it in 2022, where it was Primož Roglič who took it on that stage, and in 2019 as well we saw Dani Martinez who won the stage. Unfortunately, none of these riders are in the race this year. Roglič of course was, but is not anymore. After the Col de Torini, the riders descend into La Bollene Visubi, followed by an extended descent into Roquebillière at around 71.3 kilometers into the stage. This descent again is quite technical and requires some careful handling from the riders with sharp bends and potential for very high speeds. The route then gently ascends towards the intermediate sprint, which is savagely put in the middle here. Saint Martin Vésubie, positioned at 973 meters above sea level and at 87.8 kilometers into the stage. Here the sprinters might have an opportunity if they made it to this part, but it's looking very unlikely given the climbs that have gone past. The penultimate climb of the day is an ascent up to the Col de la Colmiane, which has also got a different name, the Col Saint-Martin. This climb was first used in 1973 in the Tour de France when the Spaniard Pedro Torres was the rider who crested the top, and it's also been used in the 1975 Tour de France and also lately in the 2020 Tour de France on that second stage where it was Benoit Cosnefroid who crossed the climb first. The climb itself is a Category 1 climb spanning 7.5 kilometers in length with a gradient of 7.1%. This climb takes the riders up to 1,500 meters, offering a panoramic views of the surrounding areas, in particular the mountains, and this segment is pivotal, often acting as a launch pad for attacks for climbers looking to gain time on their rivals. A rapid descent follows into Saint-Souvenir-Son, providing a brief moment of recovery before the final climb. The ultimate test of the day is the climb up to the Col de Coyol. Classified as a Category 1 climb, the final ascent is 15.7 kilometers long with a daunting average of 7.1%, given what we've already seen the riders go up. The climb in the first kilometer is a very pedestrian 1.4% in gradient, but then it kicks up and doesn't really relent below 7 to 8% all the way up to the finish, which is 1,678 meters above sea level. The climb is relentless with some steep sections that will challenge even the most seasoned climbers and certainly is going to put a bit of a thorn into a lot of riders here and is the final hurdle on the road of the Tour de France in terms of the road stages. The Col de Coyol holds a storied place in the annals of cycling history, most notably in the 1975 Tour de France on stage 15, which linked a stage from Nice to Paris-Loup. This climb became legendary at the 103rd kilometer after ascending the Col de Saint-Martin. The race witnessed the dramatic collapse of the famed Belgian cyclist Eddy Merckx. This moment marked a significant turning point in the stage as the Frenchman Bernard Thévenet seized the opportunity to take control of the race. Adding to the drama, the Belgian Lucien van Impen, donned in the polka dot jersey, was the first to cross the Col de Coyol, etching his name into the history books for that. But the stage to Nice in 2024 is going to add potentially another chapter to the exciting story that is the Tour de France. From Nice to Col de Coyol, the stage is quintessentially a mountain stage that combines the beauty of the Alpes Maritimes with the rigors of high altitude climbing. From the coastal charm of Nice to the majestic heights of the Col de Coyol, this stage encapsulates the essence of endurance cycling, the essence of the Tour de France. It demands not only physical strength, climbing ability, but also strategic acumen from the teams and mental resilience from the top climbers of the sport, making it a true test of the real champions' all-round capabilities. As the riders cross the finish line in the Col de Coyol, they will not only complete a demanding stage, but also experience the thrill and satisfaction of overcoming one of the hardest stages this year has to offer. But in terms of predictions, of course, there is only one man that we have on our lips, and that is Tadej Pogacar, the man who's sensationally been dominating most of this year's Tour de France. But can he potentially do something here yet again, solidifying that lead and really putting Jonas Vingegaard to the sword once more? Or are the riders going to be thinking of that time trial in Nice the following day? That remains to be seen, but there's definitely a big opportunity here for someone to try and claim that polka dot jersey out of Tadej Pogacar's clutches if they haven't already, or a last ditch attempt to get a road victory for their team. Many teams, of course, not having tasted success in the mountains and would dearly love to see it. Richard Carapaz, a man who has been in the high mountains from a very young age, could potentially be the man to win here, or even Simon Yates, but we'll have to wait and see. Felix Gall as well might look to duplicate his success in the high mountains. He did win the Col de la Loze stage last year and could look to add a second Tour de France stage to his palmares. We could even see UAE Team Emirates play it out on the road, and maybe even Adam Yates takes the victory after some tactical play as they have already done. But Jonas Vingegaard taking the victory would of course be on my number one in terms of wish list. But anyways, with that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel here on the Cycling Dane Extra, and let us know down below what you think is going to happen on the stage, who's going to win. And if you haven't already, check out our video with how good Eddy Merckx really was. But with that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's final stage preview.